The night was cold and silent, the kind of silence that only existed in deep space. Dr. Aaron Vale stood alone in the medical bay of Orion Station 7, a research base orbiting a dying blue star. Most of the crew had already gone to rest. Only the hum of the machines and the soft pulse of light from the stasis chamber filled the room. Inside that glass chamber lay a girl, or at least, something that looked like a girl. Her skin shimmered faintly, like liquid silver beneath the surface of water. Her eyes were closed, but sometimes they flickered as if she dreamed of a world long lost. The crew called her Specimen A7. To Aaron, she was a mystery he couldn't stop thinking about. It had been 6 months since they found her, floating in the wreck of a crashed alien ship near the dark side of Kepler 91b. The wreck was nothing but twisted metal and burnt dust. She was the only survivor, still breathing, her body pulsing with an unknown energy. But there was one problem. No one could touch her. Every scientist who tried had ended up in the medical ward. The moment anyone touched her skin, a strange energy burst out, burning, freezing, or even throwing people across the room. No scanner could explain what she was. No machine could heal her. Aaron was warned. Never touch the alien. But tonight, he couldn't stop staring at her face. There was something human in it. He sat down beside the chamber, rubbing his tired eyes. "You've been sleeping for too long," he whispered softly. "If you can hear me, I just want to know why you're still alive." As if answering him, the chamber lights flickered. A low hum filled the air. Aaron froze. The glass shimmered and fogged up from the inside. Then her eyes opened. They were not human eyes. They were glowing white, deep and endless like stars. She looked straight at him, and Aaron felt something in his chest shift, a strange mix of fear and wonder. Her lips moved slowly, forming words that sounded like broken static at first. Then they became clear, soft, trembling, yet filled with power. "Human." Aaron stumbled back, knocking over a tray of tools. "You can speak?" She blinked, her gaze weak but focused. "I speak your tongue. I learned while you watched me." He couldn't believe what he was hearing. 6 months of silence, and now suddenly she spoke. He moved closer cautiously. "You were awake this whole time?" "Yes," she said, her voice quiet like wind through snow. "But I could not move. The energy in my body hurts me. Your machines, they do not understand me." Aaron's heart raced. "We tried to help you, but every time we made contact, you hurt us." "I never wished to hurt," she said, her voice shaking. "Your kind feared me. I could feel their fear through the glass. I could smell it." Aaron hesitated. He'd seen what happened to others. Touching her meant risking his life. But something in her tone, the pain loneliness, had made him stay. "Then why are you still alive?" he asked quietly. Her eyes softened. "Because I waited for someone who wouldn't fear me." He took a deep breath. The logical part of his brain screamed, "Don't do it." But the human part, the part that believed in empathy, in connection, pushed him forward. He slowly placed his hand against the glass. The coldness seeped through his skin. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, to his shock, the energy in the chamber began to calm. The light steadied. The alarm stopped, her eyes widened, glowing brighter. You touched me." Aaron realized what he had done. His palm rested against the glass, but now he could feel warmth through it. Not pain, not electricity, but life. "You're the first human," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion, "who didn't fear to touch me." Aaron's heart pounded. He wanted to speak, but before he could, the entire chamber suddenly shook. The systems around him sparked, the monitors flashed red. Her voice turned urgent. "They will come. You must decide and now help me, or leave me to die." The sirens wailed through the room. Aaron looked at her, the strange alien girl with glowing eyes, and knew this was the beginning of something far bigger than he could imagine. He pressed his hand harder against the glass. "I'm not leaving you," and in that instant the glass shattered and the world turned white. When the light faded, Aaron was lying on the floor. His ears rang and the metallic taste of blood filled his mouth. The medical bay was half destroyed. Glass everywhere, alarms screaming, cables burning with smoke. He groaned, trying to stand, but his legs trembled. The stasis chamber was gone, shattered into thousands of glowing shards that floated mid-air, spinning slowly like frozen fireflies. In the center of them stood the alien girl, She was breathing, actually breathing. Her silvery skin no longer shimmered like metal but looked alive, soft, almost human. Her eyes still glowed faintly, but her face carried exhaustion and fear. Aaron froze. "You're alive." She looked at him, her lips parting in wonder. "You broke the seal," she whispered. "You freed me." I didn't mean to," he stammered. "I just wanted to help you." Her gaze softened. "And you did." She stepped closer. "Your touch did not destroy you. That means our energies are aligned." He blinked, confused. "Aligned?" She nodded slowly. "Your body's frequency, and it matched mine. That is why I waited. Among your kind, only 1 in 1,000 could survive contact with me. You are the first human who didn't fear, and didn't burn." Aaron's mind spun. "What are you?" "I am Elira," she said softly, as if her name itself carried light. "I come from the Valari cluster, the forgotten edge of your galaxy. My people are gone." The sadness in her voice cut through the noise of alarms. Aaron looked around. The room was a mess, systems dying. "We have to move. The containment system's down. The others will come." Elira tilted her head. "Others?" "The crew," Aaron said. "They'll think you attacked me. We need to get you out before they—" The door burst open. Security drones rolled in, their red sensors locking on her. Behind them, 2 soldiers entered, weapons raised. "Dr. Vale, step away from the alien." Aaron lifted his hands. "Wait, don't shoot." "She's not hostile." The soldiers didn't listen. The drones fired stun pulses. Blue energy bolts zipped across the room. One hit Elira. She screamed, and not in pain, but something deeper. A sound that made the lights flicker and the floor shake. Aaron's heart jumped. "Stop, you're hurting her." One of the drones exploded, crushed by invisible force. The other soldiers stumbled backward as the air itself seemed to twist. Elira's eyes blazed white, her hair floating as gravity bent around her. Then, just as suddenly, she fell, collapsing in Aaron's arms. He caught her before she hit the ground. Her body was trembling, her skin cold. "Elira, stay with me," she whispered weakly. "They fear what they don't understand, just like before." "Before?" Aaron asked. "In my world," she said faintly, "we created a cure, something that could heal entire species. But our gift was seen as a weapon, so they destroyed us." Aaron looked at the soldiers, still frozen at the doorway, terrified to move. "We're not all like that," he said softly. She smiled faintly. "I know, you proved it, when you touched me." For a brief second, her hand rested on his cheek. A warm glow passed between them, a pulse of energy that spread through his chest. His heart monitor on his wrist beeped wildly, then steadied. "What did you just do?" he whispered. "I gave you a mark," she said. "Now your life is tied to mine. If they kill me, you die too." Aaron's eyes widened. "You what?" Elira weakly smiled. "Now you have no choice but to protect me." Before he could respond, another explosion shook the base. Red lights flared. The intercom voice shouted, "Containment breach in Sector 7. Evacuate immediately." Aaron looked around, panicked. "We need to move now." He grabbed a medical cloak, wrapping it around Elira's trembling form, and guided her toward the service tunnel. Behind them, soldiers shouted orders. More drones swarmed the hallways. The air smelled of ozone and smoke. Elira leaned against him, her breath shallow. "They will never stop," she said softly. "Your leaders will want to study me, to use me. Then we'll make sure they don't find you." Aaron replied. His voice was calm, but inside fear churned. What had he gotten himself into? As they reached the dark maintenance tunnel, Elira stopped and turned to him. "Aaron Vale," she said gently, her voice echoing in the narrow space. "You risked everything to touch me, but soon, you'll have to decide how much of your humanity you're willing to keep." He frowned. "What do you mean?" Her eyes glowed faintly, sadness within them. "Because to save me, you might have to become something not quite human anymore." The station groaned around them as explosions echoed in the distance. Aaron looked into her shining eyes and realized this wasn't just about saving her. It was about saving something inside himself he thought he had lost long ago. Compassion, courage, and maybe hope. He took her hand. "Then let's survive first," he said. "We'll figure out the rest later." Together they disappeared into the shadows as the alarms screamed behind them and the hunt began. The tunnel was dark, stretching endlessly beneath Orion Station 7. Only the weak flicker of emergency lights guided their path. Aaron moved quickly, half carrying Elira, whose legs trembled with every step. Her once bright glow had dimmed. She looked fragile now, almost human. Behind them, the sound of metal footsteps echoed, soldiers and drones closing in. Aaron's breath came heavy. We have to keep moving. The escape pods are 2 levels down. Elira's voice was soft, trembling. They will not let us leave. They will hunt until I am gone. Aaron glanced back at her, his jaw set. Then they'll have to go through me. She looked at him, surprised, maybe even touched, but said nothing. They turned into a maintenance corridor lined with pipes and old wiring. The air smelled of burnt metal and dust. Somewhere above, explosions shook the ceiling. Elira stumbled. Aaron caught her again, pulling her close. Her skin was cold, but where she touched him, he felt a faint pulse, a rhythm like a heartbeat mixed with electricity. You're burning yourself out, he said quietly. You need rest. I can't rest, she whispered. If I stop, the energy in me will collapse, and both of us will die. Aaron's eyes widened. Because of that mark you gave me? She nodded weakly. Our lives are linked now. My death will end yours. For a moment, fear flashed in his chest. Then he shook it off. Then I'll make sure neither of us dies. Suddenly, a red laser dot appeared on the wall near his head. Aaron reacted, instantly pulling Elira down as a plasma shot hit the pipe above them. Steam exploded, filling the hallway. Found them, a soldier shouted. Aaron cursed. Run! They dashed through the fog, the sound of gunfire chasing them. Elira moved faster now, energy sparking around her hands. She turned, raised her arm, and released a burst of white light. The corridor filled with blinding radiance, and the soldiers fell, their weapons short-circuited, their armor flickering. When the light faded, the walls were scorched. Elira swayed, almost falling again. Aaron grabbed her. You can't keep doing that. I must, she said, her breathing sharp. My kind was built to protect, even if it destroys me. They reached a junction where the tunnel split into 3 paths. Aaron glanced at the glowing map on the wall. Left goes to cargo, right goes to engineering, straight to the escape bay. Which one? Elira asked. Straight, Aaron said, but before they could move, a robotic voice echoed through the corridor. Unauthorized biological energy detected. Sector lockdown initiated. Metal doors slammed down across every path. The sound was final, a trap. Aaron slammed his fist against the wall. No, no, no! Elira placed her hand on the metal. Wait! Her fingers glowed faintly. The light spread across the door like veins of silver. Slowly, the steel began to melt, not with heat but with silence, as if it was being erased from reality. Aaron watched in awe. How are you doing that? I am not destroying, she said softly. I am rewriting. When the opening was wide enough, they slipped through, into a large observation chamber overlooking the planet below. Blue clouds swirled beneath them. The dying star painted everything in pale light. For a moment it was quiet again. Elira walked to the glass window and stared out, her reflection glowing faintly. Your world is beautiful, she murmured, even when it's dying. Aaron joined her side. It's not our world. We just built this station to study what's left of it. She smiled sadly. Humans always build near endings. Maybe that is your strength, or your curse. Before he could answer, the intercom crackled. The voice of Commander Rel filled the room, cold, sharp. Dr. Vale, surrender the alien immediately. She is classified as a galactic-level threat. You have 30 seconds before we open fire. Aaron's heart pounded. They'll blow the whole section if we don't move. Elira turned to him. Then let them. If they kill me, the station might survive. If I escape, they will chase us across stars. Aaron shook his head. I'm not leaving you here. You don't understand, she said quietly. I carry something inside me. Something your leaders will never allow to exist. What is it? The seed of rebirth, she said. The power to create life where there is none. My people called it the breath of the Velari. It can heal planets, or destroy them. Aaron stared at her, speechless. Then they're afraid you'll use it. She looked at him with sad eyes. They're afraid you will. The intercom clicked again. 15 seconds. Aaron's mind raced. He looked at the maintenance port on the far wall, an emergency chute that led to the ship bays below. We can make it if we jump. Elira studied him for a long moment. You would risk your life for a creature your kind calls a weapon? Aaron smiled faintly. You're not a weapon. You're someone who needed a hand, and I was the first fool to give it. Elira blinked, her glow brightening slightly. For the first time, she almost looked human. Then let's jump, human, she said softly. He grabbed her hand. Together they ran, and as the countdown hit 0, they leapt into the darkness below, just as the observation deck exploded behind them in a storm of fire and light. The fall felt endless. Aaron's stomach lurched as the wind howled past them, their bodies spinning through the narrow shaft. Sparks and metal fragments followed like shooting stars. Elira's hand was still locked in his, her glow flickering in the darkness. Then a crash. They hit the lower deck hard, rolling across the cold floor. Aaron groaned, pain shooting through his arm, but he forced himself up. Around them the room was dim and silent, an abandoned hangar filled with old ships and broken drones. Elira lay a few feet away, breathing heavily. Her light had dimmed even more. Aaron crawled to her. Elira, are you okay? Her eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. We'll survive. The mark protects me. And you. He looked around. We're in the lower bays. If we can find a working ship, we can leave the station before they seal it off. Elira's gaze drifted to the ceiling. They won't stop, Aaron. They will follow. Humans fear what they cannot control. He sighed, wiping blood from his forehead. Maybe, but I'm not like them. She looked at him, studying his face. No, you're not. A distant rumble shook the floor. Red lights flickered to life. The station's defense system rebooting. Somewhere far above, Commander Rel was already tracking them. Aaron moved quickly between the shadows, searching for a working vessel. Most ships were old or half dismantled, but then he saw it. A small scout shuttle, dusty, but intact. This one might fly, he said, waving Elira over. She tried to stand but stumbled, her knees buckling. Aaron caught her again. Her skin felt colder than before, almost fading. You're getting weaker, he said. She nodded faintly. The breath within me is unstable. The longer I stay away from the source, the more it fades. The source? Aaron asked. You mean your home? Yes, she whispered. Velari Prime, the heart of our creation. It was destroyed. But the core still breathes. If I can reach it, the breath will return. Aaron thought fast. Then that's where we'll go. Her eyes widened slightly. You would travel into a dead system? For me? He smiled. I already broke galactic law. Might as well finish the crime. Before Elira could reply, a metal clank echoed from the other side of the hangar. They froze. Out of the shadows stepped a figure, tall, armored, and carrying a plasma rifle. His visor glowed red. Dr. Vale, the voice was cold and mechanical. You are under arrest by order of Commander Rel. Surrender the alien. Aaron cursed under his breath. Not again. The soldier raised his weapon. Do not resist. The creature is classified as a Tier 1 threat. Elira's eyes flashed with faint light. He fears me, even when I can barely stand. Aaron whispered, Stay down. Then stood tall, raising his hands. Listen, she's not dangerous. You don't understand what you're doing, the soldier fired. The blast hit Aaron square in the chest. He fell backward with a cry. Elira screamed, her body glowing bright as her energy flared uncontrollably. The soldier was thrown across the room, crashing into a wall. Elira crawled to Aaron, panic in her eyes. No. No, you can't. Her hand pressed against his wound. The mark on his skin, the one she gave him, began to glow. Warm light spread through his chest, knitting torn flesh and sealing the burn. He gasped, life rushing back into his lungs. He stared at her in disbelief. You healed me. Tears glimmered in her glowing eyes. Because you are part of me now. When you hurt, I hurt too. Aaron pushed himself up. Then we'll both live. Come on. They ran toward the shuttle as more soldiers poured in from the far door. Gunfire echoed through the hangar. Elira raised her hand, and a shield of light flared around them, bullets bouncing off like rain on glass. But each deflection dimmed her glow even more. They reached the ship. Aaron slammed his hand on the panel. It flickered, then powered up with a deep hum. Come on, come on. Elira slumped in the co-pilot seat, her eyes half closed. They will destroy this place to stop us. Then we won't give them the chance, Aaron said, gripping the controls. The engines roared to life. Flames burst from the thrusters, shaking the deck. The soldiers fell back, shouting into their comms. Aaron slammed the launch key. The shuttle lifted, metal groaning as it broke free from years of dust. Through the window, the hangar doors began to close, but Elira raised her hand weakly. A pulse of silver light shot forward, forcing the doors open just enough for them to slip through. The ship burst into space, flames trailing behind. Aaron let out a shaky breath. We made it. Elira smiled faintly. For now. He looked at her, realizing she was fading, her glow pulsing slower, weaker. You're dying again. She met his gaze, her voice soft. No, just sleeping. My energy is almost gone. You must find the source before it's too late. Aaron's hands tightened on the controls. Then tell me where to go. Her eyes closed. Follow the dying star. It will lead you home. And with that, she fell unconscious. Aaron stared at the endless stars ahead. And for the first time, he wasn't afraid. The galaxy had declared war on her. But he would defy it all, because she wasn't a monster. She was proof that humanity could still choose compassion over fear. And now it was his turn to prove it. The shuttle drifted silently through space, its engines whispering against the darkness. Stars shimmered like distant ghosts. Aaron sat in the pilot seat, his eyes fixed on the flickering star ahead. The dying sun Elira had called the path home. Beside him, Elira lay unconscious, her silver glow faint and slow, like the last breath of a candle. Her face looked peaceful, almost too still. Every few minutes, Aaron reached over to check her pulse, feeling the soft hum beneath her skin. It was weak, but still there. Hang in there, he murmured. We're almost there, wherever there is. The navigation screen blinked with errors. The coordinates Elira had mentioned didn't exist on any human chart. It was like following a ghost trail, but something inside him, something beyond logic, told him to keep going. Outside, the dying star pulsed in waves of gold and crimson, its energy unstable. Radiation storms twisted around it like living fire. The scanner screamed warnings, but Aaron didn't slow down. She said, "Follow the dying star," he muttered, gripping the controls. So that's what I'll do. The ship rattled as it entered the radiation field. Alarms flared red. Static filled the cockpit. Aaron struggled to hold the course, sweat dripping down his neck. Then, Elira stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, glowing faintly. Aaron? He turned quickly. Elira! You're awake! She blinked slowly, her voice weak but calm. You followed the light, he smiled. Didn't have a choice. You told me it would lead us home. Her gaze shifted to the dying star. That star once gave life to my people. The Villari built our cities around its warmth. When it began to fade, we tried to save it, but our gift and the breath was taken from us. Without it, our world died. Aaron listened, his eyes softening. And you carry that gift now. She nodded faintly. The last piece of it. I was chosen to guard it. But I failed. The ones who destroyed us wanted power, not balance. They feared the breath could make humans stronger than they were meant to be. He frowned. So they killed your people? To stop humanity from ever getting it. Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper. Yes. They feared what humans could become. If they learned compassion and power could live together. Aaron felt a chill run through him. So that's what this is all about. Fear. Elira smiled sadly. Fear rules galaxies. But courage can rewrite them. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. The control lights flashed red. "Radiation surge?" Aaron shouted. "Hold on!" The shuttle spun as a shockwave hit it. Fire lit up the cockpit. Elira reached out, her hands glowing bright. A shimmering shield surrounded the ship, absorbing the storm's fury. But the effort drained her instantly. She gasped, collapsing back into her seat. Aaron steadied the controls. "Elira, don't! You'll burn yourself out." "I must," she whispered. "The path to the core lies inside the storm. We must pass through," he gritted his teeth. "Then I'll get us through. Just stay with me." The shuttle dived into the blinding light. Plasma storms raged around them, colors of gold, blue, and blood red twisting like living serpents. For a moment it felt like they were flying through fire itself. Aaron's hands trembled on the controls. The ship creaked, alarms howling. But then, through the chaos, he saw something. A massive black structure orbiting the star's heart. It looked ancient, like a temple carved from stone and metal, glowing faintly with runes. "There," he shouted. "Is that your source?" Elira opened her eyes. Tears glimmered in them. Yes, the heart of Velari. As they neared it, the ship's systems began to fail, power flickering, oxygen dropping. Aaron fought to stabilize. "We can't land." "We'll crash!" "Then crash," she said softly. "It is where I must go." He hesitated, but then nodded. "Hold on!" The shuttle hit the structure's surface, metal screaming, sparks flying. It skidded across the black floor and finally stopped against a pillar. Smoke filled the cockpit. Aaron coughed, unstrapping himself. "We made it." Somehow he turned to Elira, but she was already standing. Her eyes glowed brighter now, her body surrounded by soft light. The star's energy was reacting to her presence. "This place remembers me," she said, her voice echoing in the silent ruin. "It's calling me home." Aaron followed her out of the wreckage. The surface of the structure pulsed under their feet, alive with light veins stretching toward the center, where a massive crystal floated, beating like a heart. Elira walked toward it slowly, her glow growing with each step. "This is the breath's core. If I return it, my people's gift will live again." Aaron frowned. "And what happens to you?" She looked back at him, a quiet, sad smile. "It will consume me. My energy will merge with it. I will no longer exist as I am." Aaron stepped forward. "No, there has to be another way." "There isn't," she said softly. "The breath can only live if the vessel gives itself willingly. That's why it was hidden, and why I was chosen." Aaron's heart pounded. "Elira!" She raised a hand, her light now brilliant and warm. "You gave me your courage, Aaron Vale. Now I give you my peace." The crystal pulsed. Light engulfed her, her form dissolving into thousands of silver fragments that rose like dust into the air. The chamber glowed with life again, bright, pure, and beautiful. Aaron fell to his knees, shielding his eyes from the light. "Elira!" he shouted. "Don't leave me." Her voice echoed, gentle, fading. "I am not leaving. I am becoming." Then the light faded, and silence returned. Aaron sat alone beneath the star, surrounded by the remains of an ancient civilization, and the memory of the one being who made him believe that even in the cold void of space, humanity could still feel warmth. For a long moment there was only silence. Aaron knelt on the cold metallic floor, the air thick with the scent of ozone and burnt dust. The last traces of Elira's light shimmered in the air like falling snow, then slowly faded into the walls of the ancient Velari temple. He felt the emptiness hit him like gravity, heavy and endless. "She's gone," he whispered, but the chamber wasn't still. The crystal that had absorbed Elira's energy began to pulse, softly at first, then with growing rhythm, like a heartbeat. Blue and silver light flowed across the floor, racing into the walls, the pillars, the ceiling. The whole structure began to awaken. Aaron rose slowly, eyes wide. What's happening?" The ancient runes along the walls ignited. They shifted and moved, forming symbols he couldn't read, yet somehow understood. "Welcome, human. The breath returns." He took a step back, stunned. "You can hear me?" A voice echoed through the chamber, deep, layered, both male and female at once. "We are the Velari. We remember the one who carried the breath. She is now within the source." Aaron swallowed hard. "Elira, she sacrificed herself. She saved all of this. She fulfilled her purpose. And now you bear her mark. The mark on Aaron's chest began to glow again, burning through his shirt with soft white light. He grabbed at it, gasping as warmth spread through his veins. What's happening to me? The breath has chosen a new guardian. The light filled his body. His heartbeat quickened, his mind flooded with visions, fragments of Illyra's memories. He saw her world before it fell, shining towers of glass, oceans of silver, her people glowing like living stars. He saw their destruction, fleets of human warships, burning skies, and the moment Illyra fled into the void carrying the last fragment of life. Aaron fell to his knees, shaking. We did this, he whispered. Humans destroyed them. The voice was calm, ancient. Fear drove your kind to destroy what they did not understand. Yet courage brought one of you here to restore what was lost. You are not your ancestors, Aaron Vale. You are the proof that humanity can change. The chamber trembled again. The dying star outside flared, casting golden light through the cracks in the ceiling. The heart of Valari drank the energy, glowing brighter and brighter. Aaron looked up. What will happen now? The breath will return to the galaxy. Worlds that were dying will live again. But the guardians of fear will rise to stop it. They will sense the awakening. You mean Commander Rel? Aaron said quietly. He'll never let this power spread. Then you must carry it away. The breath cannot stay here. Its rebirth begins with you. Aaron clenched his fists. You want me to take Illyra's power? Not share. Her light already lives in you. You must carry it where it can grow. He hesitated. The thought of leaving her behind hurt more than anything. And what about her? Is she really gone? The crystal pulsed softly. A familiar voice whispered in his mind, faint but unmistakable. Aaron, I'm here, his breath caught. Illyra? I am part of the breath now, part of everything. Her tone was warm, gentle. You gave me your courage. Now it belongs to the universe. But you must hurry. Rel is coming. He will destroy this place to stop you. Aaron stood, wiping tears from his eyes. Then I'll protect it. I'll protect you. The structure shook violently. The ceiling cracked, molten light pouring in. Outside, the sound of engines roared. Warships approaching. The sky burned red. Aaron sprinted to the shuttle wreck, sparks flying under his boots. The control panels were dead, but the crystal's energy had already spread into the floor. The ship's hull began to glow, repairing itself as if touched by invisible hands. Illyra, if you can still hear me. Always, her voice whispered. The shuttle rose from the ground, powered by the breath itself. The runes on the floor flared in response, opening a path through the collapsing ceiling. Aaron pulled the controls and the ship shot upward, piercing through fire and debris into the blazing light of the dying star. Behind him, the Valari temple crumbled, but its heart still glowed and alive again. Above, the enemy fleet loomed. Commander Rel's flagship turned toward him. 1,000 cannons locked on target. Aaron took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the breath within him. Illyra's voice echoed through his mind, calm, certain. Do not run from them. Show them what it means to be human. He smiled faintly. Yeah, let's show them. As the fleet opened fire, Aaron raised his hand when in the space around his ship shimmered with living light. Energy rippled outward, turning deadly plasma into glowing dust. The breath answered his will, forming a radiant barrier that spread across the battlefield like dawn. From the bridge of the flagship, Commander Rel stared in disbelief. Impossible. One human cannot. But he could. Aaron's ship cut through the storm, untouched, the mark on his chest burning brighter than the sun itself. He was no longer just Dr. Aaron Vale. He was the first bearer of the breath, the bridge between human and Valari. And as he flew toward the endless dark beyond the dying star, he whispered softly to the memory of the girl who started it all. You said I'd have to lose some of my humanity to save you. Maybe you were wrong, Illyra. Maybe saving you is what made me human again. Space was quiet again. Only the whisper of cosmic wind touched the hull of Aaron's shuttle as it drifted beyond the dying star. The light of the explosion faded behind him, turning the void gold for a brief, beautiful moment, the last heartbeat of a forgotten world. Aaron sat in silence, staring at the stars ahead. His reflection in the cockpit glass looked different now, his eyes faintly glowing with silver light, a trace of Illyra's energy still alive inside him. He could still hear her voice sometimes like a soft song at the edge of thought. Keep going, Aaron. The galaxy still needs the breath, he smiled faintly. I'm trying. The navigation system beeped, a transmission from Commander Rel's flagship. The man refused to give up. His face appeared on the holographic screen, sharp and furious. Dr. Vale, Rel's voice was cold. You are carrying stolen alien technology. Power that could end entire civilizations. Surrender now or I'll have every fleet in the sector hunt you down. Aaron leaned back in his seat, calm. You don't understand, Rel. This isn't a weapon. Rel's expression hardened. That's what they all say before they destroy us. Aaron looked away out at the stars. Maybe destruction isn't what you should fear anymore. Maybe it's rebirth. Before Rel could reply, Aaron cut the transmission. He closed his eyes, breathing slowly. The energy inside him pulsed with life, strong, alive, and growing. It didn't feel like power. It felt like purpose. A faint whisper echoed again. Elira's voice, gentle, full of warmth. Do you remember what I told you, Aaron? That fear rules galaxies? He nodded softly. And courage can rewrite them. The cockpit lights dimmed, and for a moment he felt her beside him. Not as a ghost, but as presence. Like she was part of the stars now, guiding him. Then help me rewrite them, he whispered. The shuttle's sensors blinked. Ahead lay a barren world, cracked, lifeless, orbiting a cold white sun. It was called Novara 9, once a thriving colony before war turned it into ash. Now it was nothing but dust and silence. Aaron stared at the surface for a long time. If the breath can heal, let's see if it's true. He guided the shuttle down through the thin atmosphere. The land stretched endlessly. Black mountains, glassy deserts, dead rivers. Not a single sign of life. He stepped out into the wind. The air was thin and freezing, yet somehow, it felt like the planet was listening. Aaron knelt and placed his hand on the ground. The mark on his chest glowed through his suit. Come on, Elira, let's bring something back. At first, nothing happened. Then a faint vibration ran through the earth. The dust around his fingers began to shift, swirling in circles. The glow spread outward, crawling across the surface like veins of silver light. The sky changed. Dark clouds parted, and the pale sun turned gold. The ground cracked open, and green light burst from within, glowing roots pushing through rock and soil. Flowers of silver and blue unfurled across the barren plains. Rivers shimmered with liquid light, running for the first time in centuries. Aaron stood slowly, watching in awe as the planet breathed again. This is the breath, he whispered. It's alive. The wind carried a sound, faint laughter, soft as music. Elira's voice. You did it, Aaron. You carried life where there was none. He looked to the horizon, tears in his eyes. No, we did it. Hours later, as the first storm of color rolled across the new sky, Aaron recorded his message, one he knew would echo through the stars. To any who receive this transmission, humanity is not what the galaxy thinks. We are not destroyers. We are builders, healers, dreamers. We once feared what we didn't understand. But fear ends today. The breath of Velari lives again, inside me and now inside this world. If you seek war, you'll find nothing here but life. He paused, looking up at the glowing sky. Elira, wherever you are, I hope you see this. For a brief second, the wind shimmered. A shape of light appeared beside him, her silhouette smiling, eyes bright as stars. I see everything now, her voice whispered. And I'm proud of you. He smiled through his tears. You said I'd stop being human to save you. But I think you were wrong. Her light danced in the air, swirling around him like silver dust. Then what are you now, Aaron Vale? He looked up, the reflection of the living sky in his eyes. Just a human who finally learned what it means to feel alive. The light faded into the wind, joining the reborn world. Aaron stood alone on the green hills of Novara 9, watching a new sunrise and the first in 1,000 years. Above him, stars began to shine again, brighter than before. And somewhere in the deep silence of the universe, a legend was born. The story of the human who dared to touch the untouchable and brought life back to the stars.